Hello everybody, it's VerticalSandwich. Welcome back to the Penance fight that is going to last for an hour. I am on a break from mowing the lawn. It's super hot outside. So, sometime probably pretty early in this video, we will get to stage 2 in the Penance fight. Maybe after this attack. No? Well, what do I know? Oh, there we go! Wow, okay. So, Penance, is instantly hasted when this, this phase begins. So, we want to dispel that. I may have been looking something up right here. I do not remember. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with that. I may have also taken a bathroom break, though. Because this was an hour long. Like... And frankly, no live commentary I thought was a good choice here. I didn't want to... What I didn't want to do was 10 fails. And record audio for all of them. Now... I guess knowing what I know now... That may not have been what I did, but... So now, Immolation will be, Penance's essentially single attack, which will knock us out of MP, or, yeah, knock MP, but we have 0 MP cost. We did do that as one of our mix buffs. Which is, Freedom X. You can do, 3 stars plus a Master Sphere, or... Turbo Ether plus Door to Tomorrow, or Turbo Ether plus Gambler Spirit, or plus Farplane Wind, or an Ether plus Underdog Secret. Hotspurs, which is our 1.5 times Overdrive, was Elixir plus any of the special spheres. Or 3 stars plus Fire, Ice, Lightning, or Water Gem. And Eccentrics, which is 2 times Overdrive. Which, that stacks, so we're doing 3.5 times Overdrive on this, is a Mega Elixir plus any of the special spheres, or 3 stars plus, it must be Mega Elixir plus 3 stars, or Mega Elixir plus Twin Stars, or Mega Elixir plus Underdog Secret. That is what I have listed as our mix things. So yeah, the 0 MP cost thing here is pretty important. I mean, you could use, you know, you could use like an elixir or something on anybody who gets attacked, but that's another turn you lose. So other than this, it's still like a wash, rinse, and repeat strategy. The only difference now is anybody who gets immolated has to get dispelled, which essentially negates our Ultra Null, which is kind of a shame. I mean, we can always recast that if we want to. We certainly have. At this point in the game, you should have enough mix ingredients to do all of this stuff. Although I find out later, when I'm getting ready to... when I'm getting ready to beat up... Not beat up, when I'm getting ready to Zanmato Penance, I find out later that I never talked to Rin with all the translation, all the Albed primers. So I didn't have 99 underdog secrets. And this is like this is a very long, drawn-out battle. One of the things you really have to prepare yourself for in this battle is the absolute boredom of doing the same thing over and over and nothing happening. Now, the problem with that is that's when you're gonna mess up. That's when you're gonna accidentally use the wrong thing or attack the wrong thing, and it's rough. These kind of fights are a special kind of just ugh. And I have to say, I don't know that I'm a big fan of optional bosses being this much tougher than the final boss. And it almost becomes such a thing that by Final Fantasy X2, the end boss is cake. Like, the end boss is literally just cake, and then there's all this optional plotline garbage that's way tougher. Like the Nightmare Cave in that game, or the Vio Infinico or whatever, the 100 level dungeon. It's just garbage. And personally, in my opinion, as far as the Final Fantasy series goes, I think that was a thing that that started with, it seems to me it started with 9. I don't find the boss at the end of Final Fantasy VIII is rough. And I don't necessarily think that the optional, like, Mega Boss in 8 is that much tougher. But man, and the stuff at the end of Final Fantasy VII is legitimately tough. The Million Point monsters are tough, but they got an Emerald Weapon. Emerald Weapon is kind of notoriously just horrific, I suppose. But in those games, largely like Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII, if you've played all the way through the game, those monsters are an additional challenge, but they're not a tremendously ridiculous challenge. This game, like, you easily, there is an additional, like, high 2-digit number of grinding, like hours of grinding, that you would have to do. It's not about, comparing fighting Sin and Braska's Final Aeon to fighting this. Oh my, jeez, far and beyond. And like I said, I have never finished the optional bosses in the 100 level dungeon in X2, and I've mastered all the dress spheres in that game and beaten everything else and gotten to the 100th level of that dungeon. Which, by the way, means I've gotten past the boss on level 60 and the boss on level 80, which are ridiculously hard. So yeah, and from what I remember of Final Fantasy IX, which is easily out of the Final Fantasies I've played the most neglected installment. Like that and 12 I played through once, finished the game, and I kind of went my own way. Whereas Final Fantasy 7 and 8, 10, played through several times. And at X2 I've played through enough. I made an attempt to get everything out of it that I could. And for anybody who's played that game, getting all of the endings out of it, and then mastering all the dress spheres is just it's insane. It's an insane number of times to have to go through it. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, the dress sphere leveling is just, from what I remember, an insane amount of grinding. So, and maybe I should give 9 another good hard look. I should probably also actually play through 6. Yeah, VerticalSandwich, you should play through 6. It's a legendarily good game. I know. It's like a standard bearer good RPG. And I've never played through it. But I never played through Chrono Trigger before I played it on this channel either. And people really like 12. I don't like non-turn by turn in a Final Fantasy game. It really disappointed me. I haven't played any of the 13s. Because again, I was disappointed with the change in game structure. Yeah, actually, to tell you all the truth, the 100 level dungeon like bosses in Final Fantasy X2 may be the only challenge in a video game where I actually looked up strategies and tried, and still failed. Which, frankly, it's a scary kind of thing to do, like if you're me, because like I have done some ridiculous challenges in video games, like just played ridiculously crazy kind of challenges, where nobody in their right mind would ever put themselves through some of the stuff that I've put myself through, and so the idea that. And if I ever let's play, and I'm not saying I'm going to, but if I ever let's play X2, we'll beat those bosses. Like, without a doubt, we will beat them. Although when it comes to choosing RPGs and RPGs out of the Final Fantasy series, at this point we've completed, like we've completionist attacked a couple Final Fantasies, 7, 8, and 9, and or 7, 8, and 10. So, you know, the logical thing is to get 9 out of the way, and then, you know, there are bookends for 7 or 6 and X2, where we would tackle one of those at some point as well. And my gut feeling would be that the sequence I would do Final Fantasies in after this would be 9 and then 6 before going to X2. There's actually right now as I speak, on Twitch there's a marathon called RPG Limit Break going on, and they're doing a Final Fantasy relay where they get speedrunners to they're playing every game. They're playing every game back to back, and there's a running timer. And they're 20 something hours in, and they're playing Final Fantasy VII right now. And it's ridiculous. They've been averaging about 4 hours per game, and now they're in Final Fantasy VII, which the world record is a little under 8 hours. 740, I think, or something like 739. And it's not going to get slower after that. Final Fantasy VIII has a world record that I believe is above 8 hours. And they just... The crazy thing about that is they picked very long categories to do because there are various different ways to break the game, and you can beat the game in like 3 hours if you use various glitches and stuff, but nope, they're doing the straight playthrough as fast as possible. Which, by the way, it's amazing somebody can beat that game in 8 hours. That you could, like, you could work a job, beat Final Fantasy VII, and still get 8 hours of sleep. Like, that's unbelievable to me. But yeah, I'm checking it out right now. I find it the speed runs for both of those games. And there I go. I missed an attack. I missed an attack reels, which that hurts. I mean, that's nothing. That was 4 hits. I do remember being in panic mode at some point. And it may have been this. If the second arm resurrects while this one's still alive, I was definitely in panic mode. Now we're... Yeah, maybe at that point I was... Because at some level there's a, you know, you get used to a time frame for these things coming back to life. Like, I kill one, like, I get the other one right away. I kill that one, I get 4 attacks. I kill the first one, and the second one comes back, I get 4 attacks. And when that starts messing up, like, which it's gonna wear over time. I mean, unless you're the world's most consistent RPG player. Which I am not. I am a vastly inconsistent RPG player. I make up for being bad by being thorough. Like, I may not do things well, but you'll see everything I can do. And there we go, redemption. There's a pretty horrible feeling about that too, when you miss one and you start worrying if you can get your rhythm back and things like that. So there we go. Now the dumb thing's got no arms. That's the other thing. You don't want to get stuck in this fight where what you're doing is, you know, killing an arm and then, you know, right away killing another arm and taking so long to kill that arm that the other one comes back right afterward. Which is a, you know... And maybe using Entrust on Waka would have sped this whole process up a little bit, or got my timing back. But fortunately, I didn't have to worry about things like that. I just had to be consistent and do a little bit of damage every once in a while. The problem with this too, and it should be said, is the status ailments and stuff that come out of that arm are ridiculous. It is ridiculous how these arms will, like, decimate your party. It's just absolutely crazy. It's just, it opens you wide up for him to one-shot you with his normal attack and stuff. It's just a nightmare. It's not killing these arms is not an option. And logically, you would never have to attack the body. I mean, Waka's Waka's overdrive does do damage. So, you know, given enough time, he would do enough damage to kill the main body, just by shooting at the arms. But yeah, who wants to rely on that? Every hit you get on the body speeds it up. And if you were... So this is where I must have been in panic mode at this point. I mean, there's zero doubt that I was in absolute panic mode. And you really have to, like, hope that this attack isn't on Waka. Because he wouldn't get an overdrive fill. And then you would almost have to use Entrust in that scenario. But luckily, I didn't have to worry about it. Like I said, spoiler alert, this is the successful attempt. This is not the attempt where I spent 30 minutes getting to the second phase and died within 4 turns after getting to the second phase. That was a heartbreaker. And I got really good hits on the arm there, which is just a lifesaver. So we're getting very close to the end of this video. We're cutting it off, and when we come back, more of this. Bye, everybody.